The first time the app told Aaliyah Monroe, "Delivery confirmed," she actually stood up from her couch and walked to the door anyway, because sometimes people left bags a little to the side and you just missed it. She opened the door slowly, expecting the warm smell of food, the rustle of a paper bag, maybe a drink sweating onto her mat. Instead, the hallway was empty. Quiet carpet, muted light, the soft hum of the elevator down the hall. No bag, no driver, no receipt stuck under a cup lid. Nothing. Her stomach tightened as she stepped out and looked both ways like the food might be hiding around the corner. Then her phone buzzed again, cheerful and wrong. "Enjoy your meal." Aaliyah stared at the message until she felt heat creep up her neck. Enjoy what meal? She hadn't gotten anything. She hadn't even heard a knock. She lived in a building where you could hear someone sneeze 2 doors down. If a driver had come, she would have known. Aaliyah was 30, black, and exhausted in a way that made small injustices feel huge, because you only had so much patience to spend on being treated like you were lying. She worked as a patient intake coordinator at a busy clinic, the kind of job where you got yelled at for policies you didn't create and blamed for systems you didn't control. Tonight she'd come home late, skipped cooking, and ordered food as a small mercy to herself. Ramen, extra mushrooms, dumplings, a ginger soda. Not luxury, just comfort. She'd tracked the driver on the map like everyone did, watched the little icon creep toward her neighborhood, felt that small anticipation that came when you knew relief was close. Then the icon stopped 2 blocks away, the status flipped to "delivered," and her dinner vanished into thin air. Aaliyah closed her door and leaned against it, eyes closed for a second, breathing slowly. Her first thought wasn't even anger, it was that sinking calculation. How long will this take to fix, and will they make it my fault? Because she'd been through it before. Apps love to deny what they could deny. And when you were the customer, you had to prove your reality with evidence like you were on trial for wanting what you paid for. She opened the order details. The app displayed a proof photo. Aaliyah tapped it. The photo loaded blurry and crooked, showing a bag on a doormat that wasn't hers. The doormat in the photo had a big sunflower on it. Aaliyah's doormat was plain black. The photo's door was white with a shiny brass number plate. Her door was beige with the number painted directly on. It wasn't even the same hallway lighting. Aaliyah laughed once, sharp and incredulous. They didn't just miss her door, they dropped it somewhere else and still marked it delivered. Or worse, they never came and used a random photo. She went back to the order screen and clicked Help. The support menu offered cheerful options that assumed the problem was minor. My order is missing items. My food is cold. The driver was rude. She chose Order never arrived. The app asked her to confirm her address, then asked if she'd checked nearby. Aaliyah's jaw tightened. Nearby where? Her building wasn't a scavenger hunt. She clicked yes because she knew the app wanted compliance. Then it said, "We reviewed your order. Delivery was confirmed. We are unable to provide credit at this time." Just like that. No investigation. No phone call. No human. A door slammed by algorithm. Aaliyah stared at the words until she felt her eyes sting. Not from sadness, from fury. She could feel her body wanting to go loud, to rage, to type in all caps. But she also knew how that looked from the other side of a screen. Emotional customer, unreliable narrator. She forced herself to sit back down, put one hand flat on her thigh, and breathe the way she did when patients yelled at her on the phone. Slow inhale, slow exhale. Then she did what she always did when someone tried to make her doubt herself. She looked for proof. She turned her head to the left and looked at her front door. Beside it, mounted at eye level, was a small doorbell camera her brother had insisted she install after a break-in down the street last year. Aaliyah hadn't wanted it. She didn't like the idea of being recorded in her own space. But her brother had said, "It's not about paranoia, it's about facts." Facts. Aaliyah stood up and walked to the doorbell camera's base station on a small shelf in her entryway. The device had a simple green light. She opened the camera app on her tablet. Not her phone, because tonight she was done squinting at tiny screens, and pulled up the timeline. She scrolled to the delivery window. The order had been marked delivered at 8:26 p.m. Aaliyah tapped 8:20. The hallway view appeared. Her door, her mat, the quiet corridor. No one. 8:23. Still nothing. 8:26. Nothing. No footsteps. No shadow crossing the lens. No driver holding a bag. No hand reaching for the bell. No head turning to look at apartment numbers. 8:27. Nothing. 8:30. Nothing. The feed was painfully calm, like the universe was mocking the word delivered. Aaliyah zoomed out to show the entire 10-minute window and scrubbed through slowly. Empty. Silent. The only movement was the slight shift of light when the elevator at the end of the hall opened for someone else around 8:41, long after her delivery. Aaliyah's chest loosened slightly, not because she was happy, but because the worst feeling, the feeling of being gaslit, was fading. She wasn't crazy. The driver never came. Now she needed to make the app care. She knew from experience that the first line of support was designed to say no. It was built to filter out people who would give up. So she didn't argue with the automated denial. She escalated past it. She clicked Contact Support again and selected Chat with an Agent, the option buried under multiple taps like a secret. A chat window opened. "Hi, I'm Lyle. How can I help today?" Aaliyah typed slowly, deliberately, like she was writing a report. Order marked delivered at 8:26 p.m., but no delivery occurred. The proof photo is not my door. I have doorbell camera footage showing the driver never arrived at my apartment during the delivery window. She waited. The agent responded with the usual script. "I'm sorry to hear that. I see the order was marked delivered. Please check nearby locations and with neighbors." Aaliyah's fingers tightened. She typed back, "I already checked. More importantly, my doorbell camera footage shows no one came to my door at all between 8:20 and 8:35. Not a driver, not a bag, nothing. Please escalate to a supervisor and reopen the credit review." The agent replied, "We are unable to provide further compensation as delivery was confirmed." There it was again. Confirmed by what? A button? A blurry wrong door photo? Aaliyah felt her patience thin to a wire. She didn't snap it. She reinforced it. "Lyle," she typed, "I need you to note in the case that I have video evidence the driver never arrived. If you cannot resolve, connect me to a supervisor. I will also be disputing the charge with my card issuer due to non-delivery." A minute passed. Then, "One moment while I check." Aaliyah stared at the chat, jaw clenched, listening to her stomach growl, because she still hadn't eaten and the whole situation had turned dinner into a fight. She heard her neighbor's door open down the hall, laughter, footsteps, the smell of someone else's food drifting in. It made her anger flare again, sharp and unfair. She shouldn't be hungry because a system decided confirmed mattered more than truth. The agent returned. "We can offer a partial credit of $5. Aaliyah actually laughed out loud. $5 on a $38 order. Not even enough to buy the dumplings she'd ordered. It was insulting and it was strategic. Give you something small so you feel petty asking for more. Aaliyah typed back, "No, the order was not delivered. I want a full refund or full credit. I can provide a doorbell camera clip showing no driver arrived." The agent replied, "We cannot accept external video." Aaliyah stared at that line. Cannot accept external video. In other words, we refuse to look at proof. She typed, "Then your proof photo is external too. It's not my door. Your own proof is wrong. Silence. The typing indicator appeared, then stopped, then appeared again. Finally, the agent wrote, "Our policy states delivered orders are not eligible for full refunds." Aaliyah felt something settle in her chest, cold and calm. Policy. The word people used when they didn't want to solve a problem they could solve. She stopped trying to convince Lyle. She started building a record. Please provide the policy reference number and confirm in writing that you are denying a refund despite video evidence of non-delivery and a proof photo that does not match my door. She hit send. The agent responded, "We do not provide internal policy numbers." Aaliyah copied the entire chat transcript into a note, then took screenshots. She saved them. She exported the doorbell camera clip from 8:20 to 8:35 and saved it as a file with the timestamp embedded in the frame. She didn't include any audio of conversations. There weren't any, just silence and an empty hallway. She also took a still photo of her own door and doormat for comparison, so there was no ambiguity. Then she did the next thing that usually made companies move. She went public, but not in a messy way. She opened the app's official social support channel and sent a direct message. Order marked delivered, but never arrived. Doorbell camera shows driver never came to my apartment. Proof photo is wrong door. Support denied full credit. Case ID, number. Please escalate. Within minutes, she got a response. "We're sorry. Please provide your order number." She did. Then she waited, watching the message status change from seen to nothing. 10 minutes later, a new email arrived from the app. "We reviewed your case. Decision stands." Aaliyah's hands trembled slightly, not because she was scared, because she couldn't believe the audacity of ignoring proof. She felt the old bitter thought creep in. They think I'll drop it. They think I'm too tired to push. They think my time is worth less than their policy. That thought had a history in her life, and it wasn't just about food. It was about being questioned in stores, being asked for extra ID, being treated like an exception. The difference now was, she had the cleanest kind of proof, a camera that never blinked. Aaliyah opened her bank app and initiated a dispute. Goods, services not received. She attached the screenshots of the denial and the wrong door proof photo. For the supporting document, she uploaded the doorbell camera still frame showing an empty doorway at the exact delivered time. Then she wrote a short, factual explanation. Delivery marked complete at 8:26 p.m. Doorbell camera shows no arrival. Merchant refused refund. She submitted it. Then she didn't stop there. She emailed the app's formal support address, not chat, not social, but the one in the terms under billing inquiries. She wrote like she was writing to someone who understood risk. "This is a formal notice of dispute. The driver did not arrive at my address. I have doorbell camera footage confirming no arrival at the marked delivery time. The delivery proof photo does not match my door. Continued refusal to credit constitutes denial of service delivered. I request full refund within 48 hours, or I will proceed with chargeback and file complaints with Consumer Protection." She attached the still frames and the chat transcript. The next morning, Aaliyah woke up to a voicemail from an unknown number. "Hi, this is Nora from Delivery Care Escalations. Please call us back regarding your recent order." Aaliyah sat up, heart pounding, not with hope, but with determination. She called back immediately. Nora answered with a tone that sounded more human than Lyle's script. "Hi, Aaliyah. I'm calling because your case was escalated due to a dispute filing. I'm reviewing the order now." Aaliyah's stomach tightened. "Okay." Nora continued, "The system shows delivered, but I also see the proof photo seems inconsistent. Can you describe what your door looks like?" Aaliyah exhaled slowly. "Beige door. Plain black mat. No sunflower. Nora made a small sound of acknowledgement. Right. The photo shows a sunflower mat. Aaliyah's voice stayed controlled, but it carried the weight of the last 12 hours. And my doorbell camera shows no one arrived. No driver. No bag. Nothing. Nora paused. We can't receive video files through this system, but… Aaliyah cut in, calm but firm. You don't need the file. You need to understand there is verifiable evidence your driver never came. If you deny it anyway, I will continue the chargeback and file complaints. I have the footage saved. Nora was quiet for a beat. Then she said more carefully, Let me check the driver GPS trail. Aaliyah's pulse kicked up. GPS trail. That was the cousin of the doorbell footage, another data point that didn't care about stories. Nora's keyboard clicked. Okay, Nora said slowly. I'm seeing the driver stopped at a location about half a mile away and marked delivered. It doesn't appear the driver pinged at your building entrance. Aaliyah closed her eyes. Half a mile away. So he never came, she said softly. Nora's voice softened. It looks like a missed delivery or a false completion. I'm approving a full refund. Aaliyah felt relief hit her like a wave so strong she had to grip the edge of her bed. Thank you, she said, and she meant it, but her voice still held something sharp. Why did it take a chargeback and video evidence for anyone to look? Nora sighed. I'm sorry. The first-level system relies heavily on delivery confirmation status. Aaliyah laughed, short. The system relies on the driver's button. Nora didn't argue. I understand your frustration. The refund should appear in 3 to 5 business days. Aaliyah didn't ask for a timeline. She asked for what mattered. Email me confirmation. Absolutely, Nora said. 10 minutes later, the email arrived. Full refund approved due to delivery issue. Aaliyah saved it, then immediately went back to her bank dispute and updated it. Merchant refunded. She didn't want anything lingering. Then she ate breakfast with a strange quietness in her chest, because the fight had drained her appetite in ways food couldn't fix. Later that afternoon, she ran into her neighbor Mrs. Klein in the elevator. Mrs. Klein smiled. I saw a delivery guy wandering around last night looking confused, she said casually. I thought it was odd. Aaliyah's stomach tightened again. What time? Around 8:30, Mrs. Klein said. He was in the wrong building, I think. Aaliyah nodded slowly. So the driver had been nearby, just not here, and had still marked it delivered. She could picture it. Someone rushing, choosing speed over accuracy, assuming a photo would protect them, assuming the customer would be too tired to fight. Back in her apartment, Aaliyah opened the doorbell camera timeline again, not because she needed proof now, but because she wanted to remind herself of the one thing that had changed the outcome. The footage showed the truth. Her door, untouched. No arrival. Silence. She thought about how easily she could have accepted the denial if she hadn't had the camera. She thought about how many people didn't. College students, elderly residents, people who didn't know how to escalate, people who didn't have time. And she felt something shift inside her from anger to resolve. That evening she texted her brother, You were right about the doorbell cam. He replied with a simple, Told you. Aaliyah smiled despite herself. Then she posted a short message in her building group chat. FYI, if a delivery app says delivered, but you didn't get it, check your doorbell cam. Don't let them deny you. Escalate and mention video evidence. People reacted with thumbs up and sad faces and stories of their own. One woman replied, They denied me last month, and I gave up. Aaliyah stared at that message for a long moment, feeling the sting of it. That was the real cost. Not just money, not just hunger. The quiet erosion of trust when systems tell you your reality doesn't matter unless you can prove it with a camera, a log, a GPS ping. Aaliyah didn't forget the win, but she didn't romanticize it either. She turned on Hand It To Me for future deliveries. She added delivery notes. Ring bell. Confirm unit number. Do not leave in lobby. She kept the doorbell camera active. And she kept the email confirmation because she'd learned the same lesson she kept learning in different ways. The first no is often automated. The second no is often scripted. And the truth only becomes visible when you force someone to look at data they can't hand-wave away. In the end, the app didn't credit her because she begged or because she got angry. They credited her because the doorbell camera showed what the app's delivered status tried to claim didn't matter. The driver never arrived, not once, not even for a second. And the hallway stayed exactly what it had been all along: empty, quiet, undeniable.